As when there's two teams that are evenly matched. It's almost like you said this in the Laker championship years with Shaq, the Michael Jordan years with the Bulls. This team versus this team, but they have the best player by a wide margin, or the best performer by a wide margin. I think the Celtics are playing better, but I think every time they win a couple of games, we're saying, have the Celtics finally figured it out?
Correct.
Who cares? Like, they can beat you one way, and that's with Kyrie late in the game. The Bucks can beat you from the three-point line, which is not Giannis. They can beat you with Giannis driving and kicking and basically creating all different types of havoc. And they can do so many things defensively that make you uncomfortable. With Bledsoe at the top of the key, Middleton in the middle, and Giannis protecting the rim. They defend at all three levels better than anybody, probably this side of Golden State, when Golden State is truly locked in.
The only way I see Boston competing, making this a tight series, is that Kyrie Irving is special. I don't believe that Kyrie can be just a distributor that people talk about, you know, getting everyone their shots and everything. I believe he's got to do that, but I believe he's got to be special in this series to be able to match Giannis's power, because they don't have anyone to defend Giannis. And the way the Bucks run their offense, with Brook Lopez shooting 65% of the shots he's shooting are three-pointers. So the fives, I don't care if they try to play small. With Horford, it's not going to matter, because the lane is open with the other shooters that Giannis is going to be able to get any shot that he wants. And when you look down their roster, I mean, who are they going to put on Giannis for 15, 20 minutes? Like, I know they're going to have a rotation, but none of them are a good option in the head-to-head against Giannis in this matchup.
And you mentioned Kyrie more than just a distributor. One of the reasons why Kyrie had to be such a distributor in the first round was nobody else was doing it. There's only one other guy in the Celtics averaging more than 3 assists a game, and it's their center, Al Horford. I mean, Jason Tatum was incredibly efficient in that first-round series. But that's all he was doing, right? Jason Tatum in that first-round series, 1.5 assists a game. Jaylen Brown, 0.8 assists a game. Gordon Hayward, 1.8 assists. So Kyrie had to be the distributor. But for Boston, this is when your bill for your underwhelming regular season comes due. You now have to play a dominant team in the second round when you're not fully healthy. You don't have Marcus Smart. Gordon Hayward might be getting better, but you know where he'd probably be a lot better? A few more weeks from now. And everything matters. And Boston, remember late in the year when Philly was struggling because Embiid was out? Boston had that game against Philly, and they had a chance to win it. And like, hey, if you win this, you can get up to 3-line. And they didn't. Well, in the 3-line, it's a different story. In the 3-line, it is they are still underdogs against Toronto, but you feel better about their chances. Milwaukee checks every box of not a good team, but a great team, and they have dominated the best teams in basketball all year. Why Boston all of a sudden would be something they haven't been all season, someone's going to have to convince me of that.
Could you argue that the one box that the Bucks can't check over the Celtics would be coaching? That this is where maybe they were average all season, but this is where Brad Stevens can now come in and put together a defensive scheme to slow down Giannis?
Now, last I checked, Mike Budenholzer has won Coach of the Year. For an Atlanta Hawks team that did not have an impressive roster. And he is
Brad Stevens was in the conversation, though, the last 2 years.
Yeah, but that's because some of us have anointed Brad Stevens as the boy wonder over the past couple of years. And once we get that first impression.
My partner, one of my partners, the one who says he's smart, said that besides Popovich, there was not a better coach in the NBA. So when you look at Coach Bud, who we know, NBA circles is tremendously underrated, but as Nick cleverly points out, there has been no bigger add to Giannis's game, forget anything else, player, jump shot, anything, than Coach Bud putting him in that locker room.
But real quick, to Jenna's point, maybe not overall coaching, where even I've been down on the Celtics all year, where even I think the Celtics have a potential edge in this series is if it's a tie game with 2 minutes left. The coaching and the Boston's ability all year long, even when they were struggling, and certainly against the Pacers. 3 of those games came down in the last couple minutes. And Boston, we saw in the Philly series last year, the games that came down in the last couple minutes.
Now, listen, I'm not going to allow you on national TV to compare Brett Brown with Coach Bud.
No, I'm not. No. I'm talking about what that's not what I'm doing at all. I'm talking exclusively about what Boston has been able to do as far as closing, whether it's because of Kyrie.
Yeah, but let's look at one of the top defenses they're going to be going against. So I just believe what they're going to call defensively will be able to offset.
Agreed. Listen, I think to be clear, I think Milwaukee's going to win this thing in 5. I think Kyrie is all happy. Okay, once you're down 0-2, going back to Boston, see how happy you are. With that said, when you have won, Milwaukee's now won 64 games this year. 49 of them have been by double digits. They have not been playing close games. So if it is close late, Boston might have an edge in that category. I don't think
that's what every mediocre team says. That's when they're like, okay, I got a bunch of fast guys. Let's slow the game down.
Agreed.
But
see.
Boston has proven, too, that they're not that good in close games either. With the dissension that they had, besides Kyrie, I mean, they have struggled throughout. So I can understand. Now, if it was a team that had maybe won 55 games.
If you're saying if it was closer, if the margins were closer.
Milwaukee has earned that.
Agreed.
That decisive, I mean, that many blowouts and everything. Good coaching leads to a blowout.
And that's why Giannis is rested and healthy and everything.
Well, I will say this. If a game, I think Kyrie is good enough to get you a game.
Yeah,
I think he can explode and steal a game, probably on the road, maybe a game 3 back in Boston if they're down 0-2. If they steal a game on the road, all right, that stretches it to 6 or 7. But if you look at roster and you look at performance, like sometimes we got to take the sample size that's in front of us and not lean on our own expectations of what we think this Boston team should have been.
Preach, Vincent.
And just look at what this Boston team has produced or not produced this season, which has basically been a mediocre to
an above average team.
An above average team.
Going up against a great team.
I like you, Boston. I'm with you right here.
Kiss of death right there.
We're going. Vincent, we'll see you tomorrow. We're done with this. Go home.